let's taste some wine. So this is the late night garage version of the video that you're getting tonight, and the special wine that we have for you today is the 2006 Rivella Serafino Barbaresco Montestefano. And what that means is that it's a wine made from the Nebbiolo grape from the area of Barbaresco, from a single vineyard called Montestefano, which is the mountain of Stephen. We'll just call it the mountain of Stephen, but Montestefano, and it's made by Teobaldo Rivella of Rivella Serafino. So it's made by Teobaldo Rivella, and the name of the winery is named after his father, who was Rivella, was Serafino Rivella. This is the 2006, as you can see, and kids, I'm going to give you a PSA, which is that you should always decant older Barbaresco. So this is a wine that's got 14 years of age, and it is fresh as a daisy because it's been stored incredibly well. And it is a wine that when we opened it up at dinner and had with our steak, it turned out that it was not anywhere close to being ready to drink, and it was incredibly tannic, and even with the food it just didn't go. And of course now, 4 hours later, as you can see this lovely color that it has, you can see how it's got that nice brick red, and now 4 hours later it has started to open up and become what it will be in another 10 years, which is open and easy and juicy, and it's got that tar and roses and a little bit of like spearmint. Some people call it camphor, I call it spearmint. But it's a wine that takes hours and hours and hours to open up when it's young. From the famed Montestefano Cru, which is one of the more famous vineyards from Barbaresco. Probably the most famous producer of that single vineyard is Produttori del Barbaresco, or Produttori di Barbaresco. I never remember what the exact name is, but it's Produttori Barbaresco, which is the local cooperative in Barbaresco, which, along with the Frei Weingartner of the Wachau, and maybe a couple other cooperatives in Alto Adige and Trentino Alto Adige area, are probably the two most famous cooperative wineries in the world. And Produttori Barbaresco, as well as the Frei Weingartner of the Wachau, which is the free winemakers of the Wachau. They have had for over 100 years consistent quality of product, even though they're just a collection of growers. Usually there's growers that they sell their grapes to the cooperative, and they get paid out part in wine and part in money. And usually many cooperatives fail miserably because, of course, they'd never go for quality. They always go for high production. Whereas with Produttori Barbaresco and the Frei Weingarten of the Wachau, which I'm probably saying wrong as well. Sorry about that, guys. They've always gone for quality over quantity. But this is one of the famous vineyards that they make wine out of, Montestefano. And I'd say the next most well-known producer of that crew is the wines from Rivella Serafino. So this is a producer that is ultra old school, ultra old world in style. The wines are fermented on the skins and then macerated on the skins post-fermentation for about 30-35 days, and then stuck into large old Slavonian oak barrels, which means that they're just made in a traditional fashion. But what happens is that for a wine like this, and I had just forgotten, I was having steak and I thought, oh, I have these bottles of 2006 that I got, maybe I'll open them up. I was in a little bit of a hurry because we had just been, people had just come back from a bike ride, and I was warming up the food, and I thought to myself, oh, I should probably decant this. Oh, I don't have time to decant it. We'll just drink it out of the bottle. And you know what? I should have decanted it, right? So that's a lesson for you. Which you should also do with actually pretty much all your wines. And you know what? Sure, I'll say it, all right? Decant all your wines. Whites, reds, champagnes, whatever, rosé. It's always great because you're decanting it and it gets it into this nice crystal, decanter. And I think it looks cool and it's fun. And for many wines, most wines, not all wines, but most wines, it helps it out. And it really would have helped with our dinner because, we couldn't wait 4 or 5 hours for this wine to open up. We had to drink what we had and drink it with dinner, and it turned out that it wasn't the greatest experience. But with 4 hours of being open, the wine is magically transformed. The tannins are softened. It breathes a little bit of youth and vitality back into the wine and makes it prettier and easier to go with anything. Like now I can drink it just as it is instead of having to have food with it. Anyways. Oh yeah. I mean, come on. This is true old world, old school Barbaresco. You don't find many producers like this anymore. Wine is clean. It's going to age forever. So I just need to come back to it. I have 5 more bottles, and that they're not for sale or anything. That's just for my own personal collection. And I have 5 more bottles, and I'll open up one in another couple of years, and I'll wait a couple more 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 years. And by the time I open up the last bottle, as always, the wine will be perfectly ready to drink, and I'll say to myself, oh, I should have waited another 10 years for this wine. So, Rivella Serafino, 2006, Montestefano. Hey, stay safe, be safe, treat yourself right, treat your family right, and I hope to see you soon.